Welcome to another episode of The Modern Moron. We have a great guest for you. It's a friend of mine from my days in Los Angeles who, like me, decided to move on to, air quotes, other endeavors. She is a radio personality in the Boulder, Fort Collins, and Denver area, and stand-up comedian Christine Lederman. We talk about her afternoon drive shift in Denver and Boulder, Colorado, and what a great sports town Denver is. I get so excited about it that I refer to Colorado as a city. I have a Larry Walker story to tell from the Colorado Rockies. She also talks about her time in the hotel industry where she used to book hotels for paranormal ghost hunters. Seriously, that's the kind of top-shelf entertainment you get on this program. She also used to book rooms for and stay at the Stanley Hotel in Colorado, which is where Stephen King wrote and Stanley Kubrick shot The Shining. And she has a story or two about that. I'm so excited to listen to this, and I've already heard it at least twice. It's a Colorado cornucopia on The Modern Moron, and thank you for listening. You're not in studio when you're on the air.
Not always. Most of the time, nowadays, people voice track, so we record before going on the air, and then it plays during our sessions.
Okay.
I was in a live show, Letterman Live, for the afternoon drive every day, but now I pre-record chats.
You still do that show, right? Letterman Live for the afternoon drive?
Yes. And I also, if I interview somebody, it'll be live.
Oh, okay. So if you're going to interview someone, you have to be there in studio at the time that they're on the air. Exactly.
I could pre-record them, but I would much rather do it right on the air. The energy is so much better.
How often do you interview people on your show?
Probably at least a few times a month. It depends.
And what type of guests do you have?
They leave it up to me. I've interviewed ex-Bronco players to politicians. It's just really up to me who I find interesting.
What's your favorite interview been that you've done?
Oh, by far the rabbi. Our rabbi in Fort Collins.
What made that so interesting?
Number one, it's a little bit of a Christian radio station. So right there, that was interesting. And then he's from Australia and he's in this little town of Fort Collins and he's done a lot for the town. He's been there for about 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just extremely wise and interesting. And he discussed how he got the lighting of the menorah in Old Town Fort Collins. Because even in 2002, they refused to have that in our town. There's still so much.
Really?
Yes.
And on that first year that there was a menorah downtown, was there any protesting against it?
Yes.
You're kidding me. Why? It's a menorah, for crying out loud. Why were they? What was the protest against? This is a Christian town? What was the deal?
Yeah, I guess. They don't want their Jews there. He just told me that they light the Christmas tree every year. So he'd asked the mayor and the city council if they could have a menorah lighting, and they refused. And he took it to the Supreme Court Justice to get it approved. It went that far.
Wow.
It was on the news. It was a big deal. But guess what? Now there's a menorah lighting every year, and all the city officials are there, and the mayor. The mayor's actually a really good guy.
That's cool.
He's supposed to come on my show soon.
I don't know. I don't know what to say to that it takes that much effort to get a menorah lit in your town.
It's sad.
Is there a pretty small population of Jewish faith in your town?
There's about 2, including the rabbi. It's really small.
That's very small. That's
Yes.
a small congregation.
But he's
You've got the rabbi, the moil, and the cantor, and that's the whole congregation.
Yep. Rabbi Gorlick, very interesting man. And I had Mark Jackson, a Bronco alumni, on the show, which is real interesting for the guests because I don't know much about football. So it ended up being funny.
Right. I think of Colorado as being a big sports town.
The city of Colorado.
You're right.
I mean, they love their Broncos. That's probably their oldest franchise. They love their Colorado Rockies. They love their Avalanche. They love their Denver Nuggets. I actually have
Oh, you know all the teams.
a Colorado Rockies player story.
You do? Tell me.
Your listeners might like it. Larry Walker. Does that name ring a bell for you at all?
Of course not. I'm a Jewish princess.
Larry Walker played for the Colorado Rockies, and he was a fan favorite because he's just a good guy. He was a great player. He was an all-star player, and he had a great sense of humor. He was in the all-star game one time, and I think a knuckleball pitcher was throwing, and he threw a wild pitch behind Larry Walker, and without even batting an eye, he took his helmet off and put it on backwards and stood there to take the next pitch, and everybody found that hilarious. So my story is that back in the day when we were in Los Angeles, the Colorado Rockies came to play the Dodgers. And at that time, I was working at the Intercontinental Hotel in downtown Los Angeles, and the Colorado Rockies were staying with us. So after the game, all the baseball players come to the bar, right? And the name of the field in Colorado, Denver, is still Coors Field.
Yep.
It's still Coors Field.
Still Coors Field.
So Larry Walker and most of the players, they drank Coors, and all we had was Coors Light at the bar. And so Larry's sitting there with all the other players, and he's ordering his Coors Light, and they cleaned us out. We had no more Coors Light in the bar. And he says, "I'll take another Coors Light." I said, I'm sorry, you cleaned us out. And he says, "What about that one?" And he points to an old, dusty old Coors Light sitting in the display. It had been there for years. And I said, "You want that beer?" He goes, "Yeah." "Can you put it on ice?" I said, "Okay." So I dusted it off, stuck it in the ice bin for about 20 minutes, and he drank it. Larry, God bless Larry Walker. Then the next night, because they're playing 3 games, the next night they come, and there's a wedding on another floor where all the ballrooms are. And some of the people there got wind that the Colorado Rockies were staying at the hotel. So a couple of people came around to the bar, and a couple of ladies that were in the wedding or whatever, and they were intoxicated. So they come around and they're flirting with the baseball players, of course. And this was back when they had disposable cameras. And one of them is flirting with Larry, and he says, "Take a picture of us," or "I want to get a good picture." So he takes her camera, puts it under her dress facing upward, and snaps off a flash shot up her dress. And she's kind of intoxicated. And she says, "No, I wanted you to take a good one." He said, "I thought that was a good one." He finally did take an appropriate picture with her, but he's a pretty funny guy.
That's funny.
Larry Walker, I believe, is a fan favorite of Colorado, of the Colorado Rockies. Isn't that nice?
Is he? Yes. Yeah. I used to book the major league umpires at a hotel I worked at in Denver.
Really?
They travel in groups of 4.
Yeah.
Yes. So they're just the greatest guys. And I always had incredible tickets to the game. I don't know much about baseball, but it's fun to go to the games.
It's a fun social activity.
Those guys have an amazing job. They only work like 6 months out of the year.
Yeah.
And they can't associate, though, at all with the baseball players.
Oh, really? Well, most fans don't like the umpires.
I know.
But you do.
Oh, yeah, I do.
You know what? One thing we have to cover that we didn't cover was, speaking of booking hotel rooms.
Paranormal?
You booked hotel rooms at the hotel where The Shining was filmed.
Yes. I used to work at the Stanley Hotel.
That's the name of the hotel, the haunted hotel?
Yes, the Stanley Hotel.
And you were telling me about Stephen King? Stephen King wrote the book there?
He did. He wrote the book The Shining, and he got the idea for Pet Cemetery on that property, because we do have a pet cemetery.
And was he up there all by himself?
He was. He was completely...
oh, that's creepy.
Creepy, right? It's just like the movie. He was on the verge of writing a book about a family trapped in a vacant amusement park. So that was his idea, but he had writer's block. He lived in Boulder. And Estes Park, Colorado, where the Stanley Hotel is about an hour in the mountains north of Boulder. So he took a drive with his wife, and then they just came across this huge hotel. Have you looked at that hotel?
Just from the movie. It's up on a hill or nestled in a hill?
Well, it's in the middle of the mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nestled in the mountains. It's just giant. And they were just about to close for the winter. So that's just like the movie, and he paid them to let him stay in room 213 and write his book. And the hotel's very haunted, so a lot of the creepy, evil things that he has in the movie are based upon the hotel, like the twins.
Have you ever stayed there?
I used to have to stay there many times.
Do you have any
I hate it.
Weird stories?
Just there's always things that happen. I dreaded staying there so much because I knew that the spirits knew I could see them, feel them, whatever. Mm-hmm. You don't really see too many but I could definitely feel them.
Yeah, what were they doing to you?
So like just
Here's Johnny.
the shower going on in the middle of the night, full blast.
They were taking a shower with you?
Maybe I didn't see them. I hope not. I'd be in.
So this in the middle of the night while you're sleeping, all of a sudden the shower would go on.
Yes. And can you imagine being barely asleep because I was scared enough to go to sleep, and then at like 2 a.m, the shower just turns on. Or the TV, we had brand new flat screens too, going on in the middle of the night, full volume.
Stop it.
And it automatically plays to the Shining channel. So that's already so creepy.
The Shining channel, what does it play? The Shining 24/7?
It's true. Yes, it does. It plays it 24/7.
That's creepy.
It plays Dumb and Dumber, because Dumb and Dumber was filmed up there as well.
Was it?
It was not filmed in They were supposedly in Aspen, but they weren't. They were at The Shining. Mm-hmm. Oh, and true story, Jim Carrey got so creeped out at that hotel that he left and he went to this gross Holiday Inn. Like he stayed there for the rest of the filming because he wouldn't stay there anymore. Because
it was too creepy to stay at that hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So what was your personal experience at the Stanley Hotel?
Well, my experience was the ghost hunters, ghost adventures, all those guys would book conferences, like a 3-day conference where they've got...
These guys, what are they called? Ghostbusters?
The Ghost Hunters.
Ghost Hunters. That was a show?
Yeah, it's a big TV show. Yeah, it's a TV show.
Okay.
But they would come up to either film or they would book like a 3-day conference where it was all these para-celebs. Kid you not.
Oh, God.
Para-celebs, paranormal celebrities, I know. And with the egos to go with it.
Of course.
Trust me, I'd always put them in their place. Like, oh, I thought we were talking about a Beverly Hills celebrity. It's a para-celeb. But they would come up and they'd have vendors that sell all the ghost hunting equipment. They had tarot card readers, psychics, mediums, and different lectures during the day.
How many people would attend this thing? How many people are we talking about?
Like 3. The entire hotel would be sold out. You couldn't get a room.
Oh, my God.
So at least anywhere between 350 to 500 people.
Oh,
Huge.
my God. Just a hotel full of nut jobs, basically, is what you're talking about.
Totally. And most of it's women, I notice.
Really?
I call them the para whores.
He slimed me.
They love to follow these celebrities to every event.
Oh, I bet they're just the type of gal you'd like to take home to mom and dad.
Uh-huh. They're all dressed to ghost hunt with their stilettos on.
Oh, Jesus, that's disgusting.
And then they ghost hunt with them.
I feel so funky.
They pay these ghost hunts like from, like, say, 9 o'clock to 2 a.m. They've rented out the entire hotel and they're ghost hunting. They're getting activity and energy and different temperatures.
And why do you have to ghost hunt at night? Why can't you do it during the day?
It's a very good question. They sleep during the day.
Oh, ghosts sleep during the day. Okay. Of course they do.
Well, first of all, you know that. It's a lot creepier at night. All the lights off.
Mm-hmm. They're all on the graveyard shift.
I used to always talk about this in stand-up. I don't anymore. But just how, like, I'd open a door and everyone's like, shh. They're all, like, around a bed with these meters flashing. And they've picked up an energy. Now I've ruined it from opening the door.
Oh, God.
And one time I just finally said, if this demon has been here since the 15th century, me opening the door isn't going to scare it away.
What's their response to that?
Oh, they're furious because they take this so seriously.
But they have to take it seriously because nobody else does.
People love this stuff. They go crazy for ghost hunting.
Oh, God.
So the bottom line is they hired me. I started my own company, Perfectly Paranormal Planning, and I would travel across the country and basically negotiate contracts for their haunted sites and hotels for these conferences. I know.
I hope they paid you well.
Pretty well, but that was when it was really big. It's not as big of a deal anymore. But I told you the worst was the Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Kentucky, where all the tuberculosis patients died in the early 1800s, or late 1800s, early 1900s. And it's so creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What experience did you have with that? I mean, you were standing in a room and a lady came up next to you and started screaming in your face or something?
I hate you. Yes. No.
That was probably your mother.
No, great aunt.
Your
My
great aunt Sophie.
Sheila.
I hate you.
It's all run down. So I was there in the daytime. I went there to negotiate an upcoming event with the owner. It's a couple that owns this place now.
Mm-hmm.
And she gave me a tour of the place, and we're in this what's called the death chute, where they would shove the bodies in during the winter because they couldn't get down the hill because of the weather.
Uh-huh.
When they die, they didn't want the other patients to see them, so they'd pile them up in the death chute. So we're standing there, and
In the death chute.
it's a dark feeling already, and all of a sudden I noticed the sunlight's kind of shining in, but it's also shadowy, and there's 3 of us,
Mm-hmm.
but there's 5 shadows of different heights. I was like, wait a minute. One, I see Tina's shadow, this other girl Mindy's, myself, and now we've got 2 tall creepermen standing next to me. And you can see
And
it
they're
on the
casting
wall.
a shadow.
Yeah. And they always took out the shadow people.
Oh, the shadow people. That's pretty creepy.
It is creepy. That's
pretty creepy.
I'm going to take you there for a surprise
Let's have my birthday there.
that I just blew. I just blew it. Aren't you a Gemini?
No.
Okay.
See, you're not psychic. Don't you kind of claim to have the gift?
Oh, I don't claim I have it.
Well, the gift just threw you a curve because I'm not a Gemini.
Well, I wasn't a gift. I was just thinking if I remembered your birthday.
No. Well, you didn't.
Let me backtrack a few.
Okay. Well, focus for a second, and I'm sure the stars will align, and all the a ghost will fly over you and tell you what astrological sign I am. No, not happening. Not feeling it.
I'm thinking I'm not all I feel is it's something fiery like an Aries or something like that. It's got to be a fire sign.
Okay. 0 for 2. 0 for 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn it.
What is the crux? What is the core of your stand-up routine now?
I don't really have like a core. I mean, a lot of it, I've been writing a lot about the Me Too movement lately.
Yeah.
So I've been doing a lot about that. And in the beginning, it still is a little bit about like moving to Beverly Hills to Brighton, Colorado, this tiny little town.
Oh.
Just the differences.
Mm-hmm. You lived in Beverly Hills?
And I change it up quite a bit. Mm-hmm. Remember I used to live in Beverly Hills?
No, I don't remember you living
Actually,
in Beverly
maybe you
Hills.
didn't.
I don't remember that.
Maybe that was your brother.
It must have been my brother. You know, a friend of mine, maybe you could use, or maybe you have this in your act, is that it's ironic that the Me Too movement, the hashtag Me Too movement, that hashtag symbol is also referred as the pound sign.
Yes.
So it's basically saying pound me too.
Loser.
That's not funny.
No, it is funny. The problem is everybody's so offended. It's hard to do stand up now because everything is offensive. It's ridiculous.
It is. Everything is offensive.
Yep.
You think it's because of our president and the things in Washington? It's just everything seems so divisive. Everything divides.
No, it's because of the millennials.
Because of the millennials?
The millennials.
Oh, they're all entitled?
Yes.
Well, don't
Oh, beyond. They have no sense of humor.
they have no sense of humor.
Some of them, anyway. I shouldn't say they.
And millennials are
In
children
general.
that were born around the turn of the century who are now becoming. See, I'm so out of it. I'm so old. I don't even know what a millennial is.
Millennials are also known as Generation Y or Gen X. Oh, no, Gen Y.
People use the 1980s as the starting birth years and the mid 90s to early. That is a very large group.
It's got to be the early millennials.
Yeah, that's the group that everybody gets a trophy, everybody gets a medal, helicopter moms, my child deserves the best, everything you do is wonderful,
Oh, yes.
self-esteem and confidence, and you deserve everything.
And you're going to be, and we're setting you up for some major disappointment in life.
Well, this show is not about that.
It's not.
Okay, we're old baby boomers.
I'm not a baby boomer.
No, you're not. You're far too young, which means you cannot listen to this show.
No, I can't. I'm Gen X.
You're forbidden.
Give me a pass.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else you'd like to plug? Do you have any gigs coming up outside the Denver area?
Oh, outside the Denver area. Oh gosh, what can I plug right now? I do have something coming up in San Francisco, but I'm waiting for a final yes. So I don't want to plug it yet.
But potentially you could be where the Punchline in San Francisco?
Yes, exactly.
Is that it?
Potentially,
It is?
yes.
That's a very famous, that's a great place.
It's such
Have you been there before?
I have. I love that stage so much.
Great.
And then the Comedy Store is always great in LA.
The Comedy Store in Los Angeles or New York?
In Los Angeles.
Right.
Yeah, it's a great.
And you might be at the Punchline in the next month or so in San Francisco.
Yes.
Okay, folks. Well, see, our vast listeners.
I might
all
be
four
there
of
the
them.
next 3 weeks in San Francisco.
Okay. Look out for Christine Lederman at the Punchline in San Francisco.
Or listen to my show, Letterman Live, for the afternoon drive on 93.5 FM.
In Denver, Colorado.
Exactly.
All right.
All right.
Now, wasn't that fun? Check back in and we'll confirm for you when Ms. Lederman might be coming to the Punchline in San Francisco or to another establishment near you. Thanks for listening to The Modern Moron, and we'll see you next time.